A local plan is a document in which the council set out its planning policies, in particular where it's going to build new houses and provide new employment opportunities over the next 20 years. It's the statutory responsibility of councils to produce a local plan, and the government have told councils that if they don't produce one themselves by 2018, the government are going to intervene and produce it for them. So it's very important we take this opportunity to produce our own plan, guided by our own local community, as opposed to getting the government possibly imposing one upon us. I think many people in the country think that we have got a bit of a housing crisis, and there are a lot of people who love to buy houses in the area where they've grown up. There are also people who would like to rent houses at affordable rents. So the only way we're going to deal with that housing crisis is by actually building new houses. So certainly one approach is to say it's a very positive thing because it will help local people get their foot on that housing ladder. This first stage is a consultation with our local residents to find out what their views are on our proposals. Now, it is true that we've got a lot of housing sites in this draft plan, consultation plan, and we could end up building something like 10,000 houses. But at this stage, it's for public consultation. We want people's views on it, and we'll decide how many houses can be built once we've considered all of that. So this is a consultation, and we do want to receive people's views on both the general level of development and where development is specifically being proposed. So what you can do is you can either write to us at the district council offices, or you could go online. You could look at newforest.gov.uk/local plan 2016, and there's a form on there that you can fill in your observations on. There's a lot of constraints in this area. We've got a lot of land which is covered by nature conservation designations. We've got a lot of land which is subject to flooding and so on. And so the first thing we do is we exclude all the sites which are covered by these major constraints. Then we look around the edges of all our towns and villages where you've got facilities like schools and shops and so on, and we do an appraisal of how suitable the sites are around those larger towns and villages. Certainly we are consulting about whether we should build on Greenbelt land. I should explain that Greenbelt doesn't cover the whole of our area. It's really just a strip along the coast from Lymington to New Milton and up to the south of Ringwood. But we are consulting on whether or not there is a need for houses in that area. However, when we see the public's views, we'll consider whether or not we should treat Greenbelt differently from other sites in non-protected areas. It does mean that we will have to build houses on green fields. Yes, that is inevitable, but we want to know how much and where the public believe that that can appropriately be done. But the only way we can get anywhere near meeting the number of houses we need for local people is to consider building on greenfield sites. In this area, we have urban areas, but those urban areas don't have large areas of derelict brownfield land. In some parts of the country, there are many of those sites available. That isn't the case in the New Forest, so unfortunately, if we're going to build any significant number of houses, they have to be on greenfields. The time period for the plan is 2016 to 2036. So it's a 20-year period, the plan, and we would expect the amount of development to come forward steadily over the period of the plan, although that does depend on economic circumstances because, of course, most of the facilities are built by the private sector. Certain types of infrastructure are provided by the development itself. Either the developer provides the facility or he provides money to the local agency which will develop that facility. Other types of infrastructure, particularly doctors and health facilities, they need to be funded by the government. So whereas some types of infrastructure, particularly roads and other things like schools, can be provided by the developers, we do require government funding to deal with health services. It's a requirement of the government that all new houses built, 20% of them are starter homes, and those are for local first-time buyers trying to get in the market for the first time. So certainly at least 20% of the houses will be for local people. We're also hoping to get more affordable rented houses for other people who can't afford to buy. So while some of them obviously will be sold, we're hoping to get a lot of affordable properties for local people. We can minimise the damage to the countryside through good design of the new proposals. It's all about trying to reflect local distinctiveness, to reflect the character of the towns and villages we already have. So if we positively plan for those developments, we can require good design. If developments are allowed on appeal or by government inspectors, it's unlikely we can achieve such high standards. Okay, well, none of the sites we're proposing to build are in excess of 1,000 houses, so they are relatively small in overall terms. We are expecting high quality design for low-rise developments which reflect the character of existing development, and with proper landscaping and landscape treatment, I think that will not be that noticeable compared to the development we've already got. That if we don't do this locally, the government will impose it on us. We don't have a choice about not having the houses. Government policy makes it clear that houses are going to be built. I'd like us to keep control of that process and make decisions locally about the best places to build.